everyone, and welcome to our new podcast from The Tap. I'm the executive editor of KBB, and today's topic, the Couple Conundrum, will cover what it's like to work with significant others with different approaches and opinions. I want to welcome my guest today, John Colaneri of the well-known Cousins on the hit show on HGTV. John has completed projects on a variety of TV shows, but he also owns his own high-end residential design and custom spec home firm. So he has a lot of experience working with various couples over the years. Welcome to our podcast, John, and thank you for joining me today.
Hey, how you doing, everybody? Great to be here, and it's always fun having these conversations.
All right, so we'll get started. Why don't you give me a little bit of background on you and your career as a design professional?
Sure. So, I've been doing this now for just about 15 years. So, a lot of experience, a lot of ups and downs. Our profession, it is a learning experience, especially when you're in it. No job is the same, no couple is the same. So it's very unique unto itself. I started back with my uncle's company, Brunelleschi Construction, working with my cousin. We had our own development business, general contracting business. I was a project manager there. So that's how everything really started. We were doing mid-rise buildings, I would say boutique condo units. So some of our projects could range anywhere from 4 to 5 condos in a building up to our largest that was just over 20. So those projects were anywhere from a $2 million project up to a $10 million project. So good size, city atmosphere, Hoboken, Jersey City. Working in those projects, we were very hands-on. We were the ones that were supervising the construction, designing the interior of the units, and that's where I really got my groundwork and my base, and especially my love for design in general. And then 2011, HGTV came along. That was always a fun, a fun time out of the blue. We were not looking for it. We didn't apply for it. It wasn't casted. It was just, it was something where a friend wanted to record us and sent in our tape to a production company. And really, we were discovered out of nowhere. So the docudrama series Kitchen Cousins kind of took off in 2011 and led to a lot of shows. Kind of like the Cousins series on HGTV, going to Cousins on Call, Cousins Undercover, America's Most Desperate Kitchens, and then we've done a lot of digital shows with the Ellen team. Where we started out with grand design, the build up, and then my most recent show, Design Duo, helping couples during the quarantine time. So it's been a really long ride of different shows. Being in the media TV design world for 10 plus years. And then being in the construction design world for 15 years, I do have my own company, Lily Shea LLC, where I work with my own private clients here, and we do everything from kitchens and bathrooms, of course, to doing an addition on your home. I also do private builds for an entire home for people. So really, anything in that residential spectrum that people are looking for, I can kind of help them with, and definitely gained a lot of experience over the years working with a lot of different couples.
Wow, you are busy.
Yeah.
So
I do have a children's book too. So that was fun.
Yeah, I read about that too. That's awesome.
Yeah, that was fun, and it's a construction book for kids. So it's always fun to have that.
That's really cool. So tell me who your typical clients are.
So typical clients, I think, are your husband and wife. Here, mine are in the suburbs, kind of where I am in New Jersey. So on my private side, that's normally how it was. Even when we were doing the television shows, most of it was in the suburbs. Yes, we had a couple in the city, but majority of them were suburbs couples, just looking to do whatever renovation to their home.
Okay. So you do deal with a lot of couples and significant others who live in the same home.
Absolutely. Yeah. And the ages range. It could be from couples that are just married or couples that have been married 10 plus years, 15 years. So it just varies on the client.
Okay. How do you make sure both parties are engaged and feel like they're included in the projects? Do you have conversations with them one-on-one, together, both? What kind of steps do you take?
So yeah, it's a good question. I really, it's interesting. I think there's always one person that I guess shows themselves as the leader or the person that's really going to take control of the project and going to be my direct contact.
Okay.
We'll say, which is fine. That's great. You always need. I don't need to have two people constantly for everything. But I always do try, and I really make it a point when we are having the large design meetings or we're having the updates on the project. I really want both involved. And the reason I say that is I've been there before where one person makes a decision, they don't talk to the other person. I get how that goes. And then the work is done. That person comes in and says, wait a second, I didn't know this changed. I didn't know you were doing this. Why wasn't I consulted? And I feel bad. Like I don't, even though I was told it's okay, we can do this, I still want both people to be happy. I want them to understand what's going on. So that's why I make sure, even if that other person is either working or maybe they're just not that interested, believe me, I will tell you, when the project is finished, everybody's interested. That's just how it goes. I get it. It's doing any design project is cumbersome. I don't care if it's a small bathroom up to doing an addition on your house. In all honesty, the same things are being done throughout the entire process. Yes, your scope is larger or smaller, but you're doing all the same steps. You need all those subs. You have to go through that same process. So that's why I make sure that at the beginning, we have our design meeting. We talk it out. We see who likes what. When I do walkthroughs, hey, let's get both. I don't need them on every walkthrough, but the big ones, like, okay, all of the rough work is done. We are ready to do sheetrock. If we add something, it's going to be more because we got to go back and then we got to, I want to make sure that everybody's like, everyone's good. No more to do. So that's really part of my job. And that's why I communicate so much with them during the process.
So I want to get into the nitty gritty here and talk about some of the issues that you've had with couples you've worked on, maybe different styles, tastes, budgets, timelines, et cetera, et cetera.
Sure. I think, I think the biggest thing is a lot of couples that I deal with, maybe if they are newer couples or newly married, just starting out, there will be that one person again that takes charge, but they don't. You always have that other person that's kind of like, well, this is all new. I don't want to throw my opinion in there and kind of rock the boat. And then I will get to the end and they'll say, man, I really didn't like that color. I wish I went with this. And I feel bad because you both live inside the house. So you both should love it and you should really be engaged in it. And then I'll have the couples that are together a very long time, and they'll butt heads, and they will be very opinionated, which is great. I want them to be opinionated. I want them, but they do have to come to a happy medium. So I think what my goal is, I try to give everybody something. So whether we're picking out a tile or a countertop or lighting, if one person feels very strongly on an option, and I personally think it's a good option, it's like, okay, let's go with that. if the other person is still so and they weren't really enthralled with it and they weren't loving it, then the next design choice I make, whatever it is, the paint colors or the cabinet colors, or even a space layout of something, I give them a win. So it's everybody should have a little part of it, because I've definitely seen it when I do like a final walkthrough and we're walking through. Everyone's like, "Yeah, I did that one. I picked that one
Right.
out," and they call out certain things that they both liked, and that's great. That's what the whole point of it should be. It should be, and then when they have their family and friends come over, they're explaining the process, like, "Yes, I did this. She did that, or he did this, he did that." I think that makes it special, and it really makes it theirs, and they feel very engaged in the project, and that's really what I want. I want my clients engaged. My clients definitely make me better, because I don't have the answer for everything. Yes, I have a lot of experience, I know a lot, but they'll suggest things and I'm like, "I didn't look at it that way. Great idea. I think we should do that." So that's why it has to be a collaborative process. Um, and again, then I have some clients that don't want to be that involved, but I make them get involved, because again, it is their house and they're the ones that are going to be living in it and seeing it day to day.
So how do you deal with it if one or the other is either completely unengaged? Like, we'll start with that one first. How do you
Sure.
get them to be a little bit more part of the process?
Part of the process. Well, I think, first and foremost, when I'm starting the process and I'm emailing and I'm getting design ideas, of course, I'm putting them both on it because I want them to both see it and be engaged. I will make sure our first design walkthrough, both of them are there and present, and I can feel them out. It's a very, as a designer, your clients become very close to you, and you create a bond, and a lot of it. It's not just a work bond, but it's a friendship bond. I mean, you're inside their house, you're doing work with them. You do feel very close. So I really try to be more of a friend and understand what they want, and deal with them that way, and really try to get them to get excited about the project. I constantly reference about what it's going to look like, and how they're going to interact inside the home, because it gives them that vision, saying, "Oh, I can see how I'm going to be in here with my friends and family on a holiday, or a party, or just having people over." They start to really see themselves inside the space when it's completely done. And I think that gets them really excited, because I think majority of my clients have said it to me all the time. They say, "It's hard for me to see it."
Right.
It's probably the biggest thing. Literally just the other day, over at my client's house by me, we're doing an addition, and on the addition they have two French doors that are going out into the addition, and we had to take down an inside wall internally, and we have these two temporary walls, and there's a lot of framing that's still up that will come down, so it will be wide open, but I have to do that in a temporary way just to support everything while I'm doing all the framing. And my client's like, "It's hard for me to fully understand how this is going to look." And I said, "I get it. There's a lot going on here right now. I have headers that are being installed. I have temporary walls up, making sure your second floor is stable while I do all this work. Once I take it down, you're going to see what we're kind of talking about and how the flow is going to be within your house." And that's something, because we were talking about how the doors are going to be and what the framing around the doors trim. And he goes, "It's hard for me to understand it." And I said, "I get it." So those are the things I'll walk them through. If they don't understand it, I said, "Fine." I said, "Just wait to the next process or the next step, and believe me, you'll start to see what the larger picture is."
What are some of the common things the couples argue about during these projects?
I mean, I think I think the biggest. I'm trying to think of like the number one. I mean, of course, there's a numerous different items, but I think probably the biggest one would be how they. I mean, I think space layout and how they interact in the room definitely is at the top. I will get them to, maybe one doesn't like a certain color that they want to put on the walls, or if we're going with a certain lighting, we have those topics. But um, I think I think the space layout is going to be the first, because they both interact in the space differently, and they look at it in a different way. So once I can get them on board as, well, let's talk about your family. How does your family interact with the kids? If you don't have kids, if it's just the two of you, if you throw a lot of parties, if you have family that comes over, I try to figure that out first. Then once I understand that, then I can get into those design materials of really what we're using. I think definitely whether, if I'm if it's the husband or wife, you have sometimes the wife will have a design idea where maybe she's thinking more in a rustic or a country theme, and maybe he wants a little more of a contemporary theme. So it's blending different styles, and it goes vice versa. Sometimes the other person might be more on the contemporary theme, and the husband might want more rustic. It goes back and forth in so many different ways. It's just, how do you? I always stress, you do not have to have one definitive style. You can blend different styles throughout your house. I personally love that. I don't like sticking in just rustic or contemporary, or something that is going to be defined as like, okay, I see this style, it's throughout the entire house. I like mixing and matching. I think it just makes it unique, especially in a renovation setting, because yes, you have an older home, but you want the newer items. Maybe you want a little mid-century modern look. So that's where you can take a little bit of everything and make it unique inside your space.
Yeah, I definitely like the mixing of styles too. I feel like just having all of one thing is a little bit too much. So
Well,
I get that.
and a lot of people think you have to have all of one thing.
Hmm.
That's where I try to say, no, you definitely don't. Um, yes, your house, maybe your house is built, I don't know, here in Jersey, at least a lot of houses, were built in the 50s and 60s. So they have a style. They have definitely something that has an authenticity to the house. But then I'm like, well, but it's 2021. We have to change it. You have to put things that are in today's design. If you're doing a historical home, and you are saying, no, I have to match historically period correct for everything, hey, totally different story. I get it. But to me, that is very rare. That is not the norm. So I really tend to show them things that are current design, current trends, things that they really gravitate to. And if they do say to me, I'm a little nervous because the rest of the home doesn't, look like that, I say, don't worry about it. We can bring little elements, whether it's a color that we're using in a kitchen, a bathroom, a living room, wherever we're doing it, and we could spread that out throughout your home, so it gives it more of a cohesive look and things like of that nature. So that's where I really try to tell them, it's okay. We can put some more of today's design inside the house.
We talked about this a little bit before, but during your initial conversations with them, I assume you're going to find out if somebody has differing taste with
Tastes,
color,
yeah.
styles, this, that. How do you make sure that a good number of each of their wish list items are taken into consideration so that they're both represented in the project?
Sure. So when I put together my mood board, I always have them send me inspiration ideas first because I like to see kind of what they like and or even what they don't like. I like both. Um, so once I get their inspiration ideas and I have my mood board, each item that we're kind of picking out, I will go to that person or both people and I will say, do you like this? Is this what you would want? And based off of that, in my own head, I'm keeping track of who's choosing what, who's gravitating towards which item, and it's just trying to keep an even balance. It doesn't have to be exact. I'm not saying, oh well, you got 3 picks, the other person gets 3 picks. It's more of just keeping their spirits and their attitude on the right page and making sure that everyone is getting a win on certain items. So I think that's really what it comes down to is having each person pick a couple factors. It's not just all right, they got one and they got to pick out a handle somewhere or this little tiny little thing. It's like, no, these are significant design choices that are being done inside the space.
You talked about, maybe newlyweds versus those couples who've been married for a long time, who might be a
Yeah.
little more opinionated. What about a scenario for, someone who's been married a while and they're finally embarking on their dream space, be it, a she shed or a master bathroom or a man cave, something
Yeah.
along those lines.
Yeah.
Have you dealt with clients who have just been like gung-ho about the other one getting their dream space?
I definitely, yes, absolutely. There's, we've done, it's definitely on the show. We've done those type of man caves for certain people or a she shed. We've done versions of that. And I think in those cases, you will have the one person very excited for the other saying, I'm so happy they're finally getting this because they've talked about it for 20 years. It's been
Right.
it's been a dream of theirs to have something like this. In that case, it does make it a lot easier because the person's like, this is their room. And that's fine. If they push it off and they say this is their space, they are allowed to make all the decisions because they have wanted this for so many years, then that's great because it's fun because believe me, those people too, they know exactly what they want. They've had it envisioned in their head for so long. It makes it easy. You go down there, boom, they know those choices very, very fast.
So I just wanted to talk about a couple of other scenarios where there may be multiple people living in the home, situations
Sure.
where elderly parents might be moving in with their adult children, new parents,
Yep.
widows. Do you have anything you can share there in terms of dealing with those kinds of scenarios?
Yeah, I think I do, and I've had clients, some that have definitely wanted to add on to the house or make an in-law suite in an area for their parents that are coming in. I think the key is one, you don't need to make it totally different than what's inside your house. Yes, you want to make it comfortable for that person, and you want them again to have a space they feel that is theirs. But I think you still should keep the same aesthetic and match what's in your home, so everything is cohesive. That inside the space for that person, just make it very comfortable for them. Have, as far as the furniture goes and certain items that they really want. I think it's one of those things that if if they feel comfortable inside of the home, they're going to be fine. You don't need to have this elaborate plan and say, oh man, my older mom or dad or they're coming in. I got to totally change what my house looks like now. And I think that person too wants it to feel cohesive, so they feel part of your home because it is your house. So that's the one thing I've dealt with on the design side, is saying, okay, well, let's keep the same design throughout inside of their space, but let's make it comfortable for them. Let's make it, if we have to rearrange or set up the room differently, or if we're doing a demolition and we have to do something new in the bathroom for them, it's making it comfortable so it's easy for them to kind of move around inside the space.
In our preliminary discussions, you said that you have a tendency to over communicate sometimes, which you actually said can be helpful.
Yeah.
Can you go into some more detail there?
So, I definitely, I like to share a lot, and I like to give as much knowledge and information as possible. Sometimes people don't care, to be quite frank. They're like, I don't need to know all that. But for me, it makes me feel comfortable and letting them know everything that's going on. If they understand, even, and I know most people might just want to know the design side of things, but during the construction phase, I really try to show them, what materials we're putting inside, why we're doing this, because it's very important that they understand just what's going inside of their home. Yes, we see what's in front of the walls, but what's behind the walls is very important for energy savings, efficiency, just the longevity of their home. Those are things that I definitely want to show them. I don't expect them to fully understand it. I don't expect them to become, contractors and get every part of it. But it's just, if something comes up years down the road, they'll say, "Oh, John told me about this. This is something we spoke about." And if they ever need to reach out to me, it's like, yeah, absolutely, we can talk about it. And it just gives them a reference point, since they are the ones that live inside their home, and it is their home, and they should know these things.
Yeah, I think that's really important. It's a huge undertaking at times. So
it is.
Being able to know why you're doing certain things and all that is great. So it sounds to me a little bit like you play the designer and the therapist in certain projects.
Definitely do. I've seen I don't want to say full on fights, but I've seen some disagreements. Maybe some get a little testy, but I've seen disagreements, and I just, again, I try to play both sides, and that is my job. I'm not there to choose a side. I'm there to help them come to an understanding of what is the best for the both of them. Sometimes people, yes, we tend to say what's the best for me, but when you're in a relationship, it is what's the best for both of you, and to make both people happy.
Very true. Well, thank you so much, John, for joining us today. I know that you have provided a lot of good information for our fellow design professionals out there and helping deal with different sides of the significant other equation.
Absolutely.
All right. Thank you so much. Take care.
Yeah, thank you. Talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye-bye.